Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namini Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschata Desatarini Jayo Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, and welcome all the devotees to the ISKCON Sadachar classes from ISKCON Mangalore. So, until last week, right? So, we covered few of the avatars. So, last avatar was Narsingadev. Yeah. So, any takeaway, any reflections anyone wants to share from Narsingadev? Yeah. So, that's the favorite, yeah. So Narsingadev avatar. So among the Dasa avatars, right? That is the most spoken by Prabhupada in his lectures, yeah. And even uh, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also. So he heard the same canto, so the same chapter, right? So the Narsimhadev Leela for at least 100 times from Gadadhar Pandit, yeah. So that was what we covered in, and Hare Krishna Prabhuji. So today we will be looking at Vaman Dev. Okay, so we will look at Vaman Avatar. Yeah. So this is the next one. Okay. So in here, right, we will see. Say, how did this pastime start actually? Yeah. So we all know that there is always a tussle between divine and demonic, right? So that's the way, right? Even in Bhagavad Gita, it says, right? So there are two types of people, divine and demonic, right? And as time passes by, right? So one of them becomes strong, and the other loses the charm. Yeah. So at times the demons become powerful, and when the demons become powerful, the Lord comes and then he settles things, and then again. The divine become powerful, yeah. So this goes between divine and demonic, right? So this war always goes in. So now, right, in here what happens is now, we all know that Bali Maharaj was there, right? So Bali Maharaj had actually conquered everything. So he conquered all the three universes, yeah. And then we all should know that Bali Maharaj is the grandson of Prahlad Maharaj, yeah. So he was very powerful. So, and then he actually conquered everything. Say Indraloka, Chandraloka, whatever lokas were there, right? So everything was conquered by Bali Maharaj, and then he was ruling them. Yeah, and he happens to be the uh, king of the demons. Yeah. So, but he was actually um, a very good devotee. Okay, so he had say the blessings of his grandfather, right? So he was also a very great devotee, right? But from the service point of view, right? So he had to do those wars and all because he was the king of demons. But yes, at the heart, right? He was always having devotion, yeah. And then he was a very great devotee. So what happened is by then, and then we knew, right? So when the appearance of Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu, we discussed that Kashyapa Muni, right? She had two wives, right? Uh, so one was Diti and another was Aditi, right? So the children's born to Diti are demons, right? And the children born to Aditi are Adityas or the divines, yeah, the devatas. So what happened is, as Bali Maharaj became the king, right, and then he was ruling, so the demonic um, flavor was more, right, and then the divine thing was not there, and all the demigods and all, right, so the Gandharvas and all, right, so they didn't have any place anymore, say, in their awards, right, and then they had to flee because it was all conquered by the demons, and then the demons started ruling. So Aditi was feeling very bad because her children were not having a proper place, right, and then they lost all their abode, right, and then she was very morose, okay, and she had an hermitage. And so in the past, right, so during that time, during Satya Yuga, so possibly, so wherein the life span was very big, right? So at that time, Kashyapa Muni actually went to his ashram. So not ashram, so he went into a jungle for meditation. Yeah, so he was in trance for a couple of years or so, and then he came back. So after his meditation was over, right, for a couple of years, he came back, and then he sees that the ashram is not lively. Yeah, and he actually sees that Aditi is also not happy. Yeah, so and then he actually asks the reason for it. Okay, so he asks for it. So what has happened? He inquires to her, and then Aditi actually explains, and then he tries actually. So he tries to persuade her, right? So he tries to console her, saying that so this is all. He gave little bit philosophical thing, right? So we should not be attached to material things and all those things. And then he was trying to solace her, so with philosophy, and then with the matter and spirit and all those things he was giving her, and then she shouldn't lament and all those things he was telling him. So, but Aditi was not satisfied. Okay, and then she said that whatever it is, but this is injustice, and then my children should get back whatever they had. So that went on. Okay, so then she asked, so tell me, so because Kashyapa Muni is very learned, right? And then she asks, so give me some instructions or give me a path, okay, using which you only show me a way or direction. Yeah. So, and then Kashyapa Muni says that, okay, so there is no other go, right? The only thing is you'll have to worship Vasudeva, right? Krishna and Janardana. And then he says that is the only person who can help in this. Okay. So he says Lord Vishnu is the only one who can actually bring you from this situation back to normalcy. Yeah? So then she asks, so what should be done? Okay. So now he she is asking her husband, saying that what should be done. Then he suggests her to do it Payovrata. Okay. So that vrata is for 12 days. Okay. And then he instructs her, so what to be done, okay, for those 12 days. And then if you do it properly, then you'll actually, this is for Lord Vishnu, and then Vishnu will appear. So she followed the instructions of whatever was being given by Kashyapa Muni, right? And then she started doing this vrata, this Paya vrata for 12 days. Okay. And then she could, at the end of the 12th day, right? She could get the darshan of the Lord. Okay. So, and when she saw the Lord, right, she was speechless. So with the beauty of the Lord, right? So with the description is very well given in the Bhagavatam, so wherein all the bodily features of the Lord, along with the Pitambara Vastra, right, the cost of a jewel, and so on. The Lord was very beautiful, right? And then she was charmed with the Lord's beauty, and then her voice and everything got choked, right? And then she didn't know so what to ask for now. Okay. And she was there. So, and then the Lord, as the Lord is a Paramatma, right? So he knows what is the requirement of everything, right? So he understood. So what was Aditi's pain, right? So Aditi's pains were that her sons were not were homeless basically. So and then they were having hard time, right? So the devatas so didn't have their abodes. So the Lord promises her that I'll come as your son, and then I'll re-establish everything, and so all the devatas will get back their own lokas, like Indra will get their Indra loka and all, and then he goes away. So this is the actual background. Okay, so why Vaman Dev actually appeared in. Okay, so this was the backdrop. Okay, and then it happens that the Lord actually appears, right? The Lord appears in the similar way as Lord Krishna appeared in the Kamsa's jail, right? So the Lord actually appeared in his full form, okay, with Shankha, Chakra, Gada, right, and Padma. So he appeared in Kashyapa Muni's mind, yeah. So the full picture of the Lord was visible, and then he actually converted himself into a small boy. Yeah, the same way as in the Kamsa's jail, right? So as he showed his form to Vasudeva and Devaki, and then he entered into the womb, right? So the same way, right? So the Lord appeared in his full-fledged form. Okay, but in this case, right, the Lord actually took the shape of a Vatu, a Brahmana boy. Okay, so we'll look into that. So just we'll look at the slides once. Yeah, this is what. So this sloka, right? After Lord Brahma had thus spoken, glorifying the Supreme Lord's activities and prowess, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is never subject to death like an ordinary living being, appeared from the womb of Aditi. Okay, so this is the one. His four hands were decorated with a conch shell, club, lotus, and disk. He was dressed in yellow garments, and his eyes appeared like the petals of a blooming lotus. Okay, so this is the description. Okay, so this particular thing, all these are from Canto 8. Okay, so you can actually, if you want more details, right, of everything, so you'll have to read Srimad Bhagavatam. In the Canto 8, we have these pastimes. Yeah, so here it is being said, you see, in the sloka itself, it is being said, right? Itam virincha stuta karma viraya pradhur bhabhur vamrita bhur adityam chaturbhuja shankha gadabja chakra Vishangavasha Nalinayata Shanaha. So here we see, right, Chaturbhuja, Shankha Gadabja Chakra, right? And then the Vastra, everything. And then from whom? Adityam. So from Aditi. Yeah. So this is the description how the Lord actually appeared in. Okay. So after the Lord appears in, right? So Lord of Vamandev appeared in this world from the womb of Aditi, completely equipped with these all things. Yeah. So he came with all these things. Yeah. So in the sense, uh, he doesn't have a material body, right? So even though, so whenever he's born in this world, right? So he comes in his form only. Yeah. So from therein, say he actually changes his shape after showing this, right? So he changes his shape and then he becomes a small boy. Yeah. And then when was he born? Yeah. So he was born on Shravana Dwadasi. This is very auspicious day. Okay. This is the 12th day of the bright fortnight in the month of Bhadra. Okay. So when the moon came into the lunar Manison Shravana at the auspicious moment of Abhijit. So the Lord appeared in this universe, and then when he appeared, right? So everything was very peaceful, right? So everything was favorable rather. Yeah. So this is the time when the Lord was born. Okay. So when the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who was Sachitanand, who has Sachitananda body, appeared as the son of Kashyapa and Aditi, both of his parents were astonished. After his appearance, the Lord assumed the form of a dwarf, yeah, Vamana. All the great sages expressed their jubilation, and with Kashyapa Muni, before them, they performed the birthday ceremony of Lord Vamana. Okay. So now, right, at the time of Lord Vamanadev's sacred thread ceremony, he was honored by the sun god, Brihaspati, the goddess presiding over the planet Earth, the deity of heavenly planets, his mother, Lord Brahma, Kuvera, the seven rishis, and others. So everyone actually bought something, okay, so for the Lord, okay. So as you seen, right? So everyone actually bought something or the other. So like there was a thread ceremony which was being done, yeah. So everyone, say Mother Earth gave some deer skin, right? And say Brahma gave him the danda, yeah. And someone actually his mother, and I think she gives the first arms, Sati. So she gives. The first arms to him, and then Kuvera actually gives him a pot for begging the alms. Yeah, Lord Saraswati gives him Rudraksha beads. Yeah? And the seven sages give them the Kushagras. Okay, Brahma gives him the Lord Brahma gave him the water pot. Yeah, and the forest actually gave him the rod, say the sannyasi rod, say the brahmachari rod. Sorry. So the Brahma Danda was being given by them. Okay. So this is how so after the Lord's appearance, right? So all the ceremonies were done. And then now the Lord enters into the pastime. Yeah. Hare Krishna. Any Mataji or Prabhuji can read this? Kailash Mataji, do you want to read this?
Yes, Prabhu, I did it. Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna.
Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
From where? From Lord Vamanadeva or from Bhrigu was a rishi?
From Lord Vamandeva, you can read Mataji.
Lord Vamandeva then visited the sacrificial arena on the northern side of the Narmada River at the field known as Brigu Kacha, where Brahmanas of the Brigu dynasty were performing yagnas. Wearing a belt made of munja straw and upper garment of deer skin and a sacred thread, and carrying in his hands a danda, an umbrella, and a water pot kamandalu, Lord Vamandeva appeared in the sacrificial arena of Maharaja Bali. Because of his transcendentally effulgent presence, all the priests were diminished in their prowess, and thus they all stood from their seats and offered prayers to Lord Vamandeva.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Thank you,
Krishna.
Mata. So in here, right? So now, so Vamandev actually got to know that there is a Bhrigu dynasty wherein the yagnas are being performed. Okay. So and then he tried to go there. Okay. So he entered into the assembly and then he was very effulgent. Okay. So his body and everything was so effulgent, right? So the rishis were thinking, who is this person? So has the sun god appeared into this arena and all, right? So there were a lot of discussions which happened. Okay. Yeah. Lakshmi Prabhu, you want to read this? Hare Krishna.
Yes, Hare Krishna Prabhu. Yes, please.
Yeah.
When the Lord heard that Bali Maharaja was performing the Ashwamedha sacrifice under the patronage of Brahmanas belonging to Bhrigu dynasty, the Supreme Lord, who is full in every respect, proceeded there to show his mercy to Bali Maharaj.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
So here, Bali Maharaj was performing the Ashwamedha, right? And the other problem, so he was performing all the sacrifices, yeah. So and then he's becoming more powerful. Okay. So we know that this is not the first instance, right? So there are so many instances where even Indra feels unsecured, right? Say once the demons or any other. So if he feels there is a competitor who does a lot of Ashwamedha yagnas and all, right? So Indra gets agitated, yeah? And then there are a lot of fights also which happen through. But yeah, so we'll not touch those things. So in here, right, he enters into the assembly, okay, and then what will happen is uh, Bali Maharaj will receive him, okay. So Bali Maharaj will receive Vaman Dev, yeah, and then say he'll offer him a proper seat for sitting, yeah, and say he'll wash his feet, so all those things, right? So he'll do it, okay. Yeah. Anyone else who can read this?
I will read Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Go ahead, Sunita Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Yes. Even Lord Shiva accepts on his head the Ganges water generated from the toe of Lord Vamana Deva. Therefore, after washing the Lord's feet, Bali Maharaja immediately accepted the water from the Lord's feet on his head and felt that he and his predecessors had certainly been glorified. Then Bali Maharaja inquired of Lord Vamanadeva's welfare and requested the Lord to ask him for money, jewels, or anything he might desire.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
So in here, right? So once he made comfortable, right? He made Vamandev comfortable, right? Then he is asking Bali Maharaj. So looks like we have some expectation, and then you have come to Ashwad this yagna. Please let me know. So what is your need? Yeah? So whether you need any jewels, you need any land, you need any village, yeah, or you need elephants, chariots, or any daughter of a brahmana for your wife, gold, anything. So he is asking. So from his side, right, he started asking all those things, yeah. And then, so what will happen is after this, right? Vamandev starts speaking. Okay. And then he'll actually start glorifying his grandfather. So grandfather. So he'll start with Hiranyakashipu, Hiranyaksha, right? Vamandev will first actually glorify the demons. Yeah. And then he'll say, and then he'll come down slowly and to Bali Maharaj, and then he'll say that, okay, you're doing such a pious thing, yeah, and so only few rare people can do this, and then he actually glorifies him initially, okay, and then let's see so what happens. Yeah? So, O son of Brahmana, it appears that you have come here to ask me for something. Therefore, whatever you want, you may take from me, O best of those who are worshipable. You may take from me a cow, gold, a furnished house, yeah, palatable food and drink, the daughter of a Brahmana for your wife, prosperous village, horses, elephants, chariots, or whatever you desire. Okay. So she is asking the Lord, and now what happens is the Lord will say that so after all these discussions, right? The Lord will say that I'll need only 3 paces of land. Okay. So that is what he'll say to Bali Maharaj. Okay. And then say Bali Maharaj will think that, okay, so he's a dwarf, right? So, and then what would 3 paces of land mean, right? It's a very small thing. So he'll say that, okay, looks like, so you're feeling shy, or so you can ask, he'll say that you should ask something bigger, right? So you're asking only 3 paces of land. Okay. And then what happens is, in the meanwhile, right, this discussion is going on, right? He'll say that, okay, so maybe you don't know, you should ask for a bigger thing. Yeah. You can ask me for an island, I can give you, because so, Bali Maharaj is a little bit puffed up because he has conquered all the 3 worlds, right? Universes. So now he thinks that, okay, you should ask something bigger. So now Bali Maharaj is actually thinking of his material opulences, his attachment. Yeah? And Shukracharya now enters in, is there. So Shukracharya is nothing but he is the guru. He is the spiritual guru of Bali Maharaj, right? So he understands this. Okay, he understands this, and then he gets to know that. So this is nothing but it's Lord Vishnu who has come in the form of a dwarf, and then he will actually take away all the opulences of Bali Maharaj, and then because Shukracharya was actually the guru for the demons, right? So, and then he was having materialistic desires, right? So he actually informed Bali Maharaj saying that don't get into all those things. He's Lord Vishnu, and then he'll kick you out. But Bali Maharaj doesn't care or doesn't listen to Shukracharya's advice. So Shukracharya in his lifetime, right? This is the one good thing which he did in. So wherein he gave an good advice. Okay, but Bali Maharaj didn't take that advice. Yeah, so this is the first time so wherein so someone is rejecting the guru's order. Yeah, so usually we see that nobody disobeys the guru, right? So whatever orders are being given, they follow. But why did Bali Maharaj actually did not honor Shukracharya's request is because Bali Maharaj was an exalted devotee, and then he knew the higher purpose of it, right? So, because he was looking at the religious principle behind it, right? So not to the attachment, right? So he, even if it is Vishnu who is coming in, right, he is more interested in satisfying them. And then he, being the son of Prahlad Maharaj, right, he said that how can I um, so withdraw my promise, right? So because so for money or land and all those things, so I cannot be a cheater or a liar, right? He actually tells to Shukracharya, and then he says that so whatever happens, I'll go ahead and then say I'll keep my promise, right? Because lying is also a sinful thing, right? And then said even the Mother Earth, right? She can't bear the weight of these liars. Yeah? So that's the reason. So he was not interested in the instructions which were given by Shukracharya. And then what happened is, as uh, he was the disciple of Shukracharya, and then and he's cursed him. Okay, so because he actually didn't listen to what he said, right? So Shukracharya cursed him, saying that you will be losing all your opulences. Okay, and then so what happens is now Vamandeva actually expands expands his body, right? So from the small dwarf, right? So he expands his body and then he becomes gigantic. Yeah? So he actually pierces all. So he becomes very huge, right? So he actually takes the form of something similar to the Virat Rupa. Okay, and wherein by then Bali Maharaj is able to see, right? All the opulences in the body, so he could see all all the things which are happening, right? So the way the Vishwarupa was shown, right, similar to that, but this is Virat Rupa. So he could see that in the Lord's body only, right? The whole creation is there, right? He could actually sense everything by then, and then he saw that, and he could see the conch shell, right? The Panchajanya, and then he could see his clubs, right? And then his moon-like spots, all the things, right? So, say the flowers in his hand. So all the demigods have all. So he could see all the fortunes and everything, right? So which are there in the Lord's body, right? So he could see. So now what happens is he went into the upper planets also, right? And then he'll actually put another foot, right? He'll expand his foot, and then that pierces all the upper planets, right? Tapaloka, Satyaloka. So we have 14 planetary systems, right? So he actually pierces everything, and then he actually moves into the other layers also. So after this 14 planetary system, right, there are different layers. Okay, so which are even thicker, so which are 10 times thicker. Okay, and then he pierces everything. Okay, and from the causal ocean, right, his finger goes and pierces the causal ocean, from where Ganges water comes down to this material world to deliver all the fallen souls. Yeah, so that is what it has happened. Yeah, and then we'll see what happens for the third step. Yeah, so can someone read this? Rajalakshmi Mata, you want to read this? Okay, she left, is it? Sunita Mataji, you want to read once again?
Sure, Prabhuji. When When Bali Maharaja, thinking Vamana, the son of Brahmana, told him to ask for anything, he lied. Lord Vamanadeva praised Hiranyakasipu and
Hir-
Hiranyakasipu
Hiranyaksha.
Hiranyakesha for their heroic activities. And after thus praising the family in which Bali Maharaja had been born, he begged the king for 3 paces of land. Bali Maharaja agreed to give this land in charity since this was very insignificant. But Shukracharya, who could understand that Vamanadeva was Vishnu, the friend of the demigods,
Hare
forbade Bali Maharaja to give this land.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.
So this is what we discussed, right? So that has happened. Shukracharya advised Bali Maharaj to withdraw his promise. He explained that in subduing others, in joking, in responding to danger, in acting for the welfare of others, and so on, one could refuse to fulfill one's promise, and there would be
And
no fault. By this philosophy, Shukracharya tried to dissuade Bali Maharaj from giving land to Vamandev, but he doesn't listen. Yeah,
Hare Krishna Prabhu, can I read?
Go ahead, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Bali Maharaja gave everything to the Lord in charity, and thus the Lord extended his body and assumed a gigantic form as Lord Vishnu. After hearing the instructive advice of Shukracharya, Bali Maharaja became contemplative. Because it is the duty of a householder to maintain the principles of religion, economic development, and sense gratification, Bali Maharaja thought it improper to withdraw his promise to the Brahmachari. To lie or fall or fail to honor a promise given to a brahmachari is never proper, for lying is the most sinful activity. Everyone should be afraid of the sinful reaction to lying, for Mother Earth cannot even bear the weight of a sinful lie. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So this is what has happened. This is what we discussed in, right? So Bali Maharaj, looking at all these angles, right? He didn't follow, and then he was cursed by his guru itself for not following the instructions of his guru. And the Lord gradually covered the entire surface of the world, and by extending his body, he covered the entire sky. Yeah, you see, he covers all the sky. With his hands, he covered all the direction, and with his second foot, he covered the entire upper planetary system. Therefore, there was no vacant place where he could take his third step. So now the questions come for the third step. So now the Lord says that you asked me, you promised me that you'll give me 3 paces of land, but with 2 paces I've covered everything. So where should I keep the third one? And then he's chastising Bali Maharaj. Yeah, so you're a liar. Yeah, and then you're not able to promise all those things. And then as he failed, right, Garuda actually came in, and then it tied with the ropes. Okay, so with ropes, Bali Maharaj was tied. Okay, so those were from Varuna, right? So, and then he was tied, and then so he's asking now. So you didn't fulfill my promise and all those things. Then Bali Maharaj says that so you can actually keep the third feet on the head, on my head. Huh? So he's see he has so many opulences, right? And then he's ready to actually he's tolerating so much, and then he's even ready to go to the hellish planet. Okay, so because and then he's taking on, right? So from Lord Vishnu is chastising, and then he's taking on, he's now, and then what happens is as the king, right, is being taken into the custody, right? So his followers, the demons started, they came, and then they actually started fighting. Yeah, so with the uh, Vishnu Sena, yeah. So on the opponent, right? So they they couldn't tolerate that Bali Maharaj being a pious person. So they felt that this is a cheating, and then they were waging a war, and then the war was going on between the Vishnu Sena and the demons. Yeah. So this was going on one side. So what happens now is his wife, then Lord Brahma, and also comes to that arena. Yeah. And by then, right, his wife actually prays to the Lord. Okay. So her name is Vindhyavali, right? So there is only two verses, and she actually, um, in that verse, right, it's a very beautiful verse. Okay. So which she, she prays to the Lord, and then she asks for the mercy from the Lord. Okay. She says that the entire universe is right, is being created by you, but falsely, right, the unintelligent men, and basically we get and claim the proprietorship of material enjoyment, right? So we feel that this is my land, my, so we go into this, right, my mind thing, and falsely we think that um, out of this proprietorship, right, we think that we are giving charity, and we'll say that okay, you take this bit of land. Yeah. So she agrees that uh, the Bali Maharaj, right? So Bali Maharaj was being puffed up, and then say he was claiming the proprietorship, right? Instead, it should be the Lord who should be the proprietor, right? And then the devatas who were appointed by the Lord, right, for the management. So they only manage; they are not attached to the materialistic enjoyments, right? So they never claim the proprietorship of the universe, right? So they'll only do the job which has been assigned. Okay. So different departments are being handled by different devatas, right? And then they do that particular role, but they are not attached to it. Okay. But what happens when the demons take in, right? Say they actually think that this is mine. Okay. And then this is all my enjoyment. Yeah. So I will rule over it. So it's all I my mentality. Yeah? So for them there is no God, right? So there is a godless society for them. So she says that even this body, right? So we think that this body is also ours, but this is also not ours. Okay. So Bali Maharaj, which he was offering, saying that you can take my body on, so his head, right, as the third step. She says that he's still in darkness. Okay. Actually, the body doesn't belong to him. Yeah. So and then she says that as you know all those things, right? So as you are the supreme personality of Godhead, so um, please live, because whatever he had, he has already surrendered to you. And then she says that she show some mercy. Then Lord Brahma enters into the arena, right? And then he says that you are you are the well-wisher of everyone, right? So Krishna, right? So he is the well-wisher of everyone, right? So he's Janardana, and he's very Dayamai also, right? So he says that you are you actually get satisfied if someone with devotion, right? He gives you some little bit of flower or a fruit, right, or little bit of water, and then here Bali Maharaj has given you all his opulences, but still you are not satisfied. So he says that how can he deserve this suffering? So he asks the question, yeah, and then even so at that time, right, Prahlad Maharaj also comes in into the scene, and then he says that so you have only given him, say, all the opulences, and then you have the right to take away all the opulences. And he says that whatever is best, please do that. Okay. So in this way, so this discussion goes on. Okay. And the Lord actually at the finally, right, he'll actually tell him that so why he has done it, right? So because of the material opulences, right? The person becomes dull-headed and mad, right? So and they actually with having more opulences, right? And then he was possessing all materialistic opulences, right? And then Bali Maharaj had forgotten his authority. So that's the reason the Lord has appeared. And then the Lord says that this is my special mercy. Okay. So what is the special mercy of the Lord? Anyone knows? Any guesses?
He sends him to the Sutala planet and he guards the planet himself.
And that is
Lord.
afterwards, Mataji.
Yes.
So before that, right? He says that this is my special mercy. So what is Lord's special mercy? So Lord will take away all our material opulences. He'll make us zero. So that is the special favor. Okay. And then even if at that time, right, say we have the same dependency on the Lord as we had, and say when we were well off, and then when we don't have money, all the materialistic opulences at that time also, so you are still determined, and then you are fully surrendered to the Lord, right? Then the Lord takes care of you. Okay. So that's the litmus test for each one of us, right? If you look at Prabhupada's journey also, right? So Prabhupada's medicine business was doing very well, right? And then he had the special mercy of the Lord, so wherein his whole business went to bankrupt, right? So, but still, Prabhupada didn't leave Krishna consciousness, right? And then he became even more determined and more dependent on the Lord. And at the end, the Lord actually gave him all the opulences, right? And then he built 108 temples. Yeah. So that's the special mercy, yeah. To withstand the special mercy, right? It's very difficult. So it's like the special devotees only can take that mercy, so we can't, yeah. So when Bali Maharaj was thus reduced to a helpless position, Lord Vishnu asked him for the third step of land. Yeah. So this is what. So this is how he was actually tied with the rope. Yeah. So here it is. So the Varuna ropes were being bought by Garuda, and then he was arrested, and then so this is what Bali Maharaj's wife has spoken. Yeah. So this is unintelligence and all. Yeah. So she actually spoke very nicely. Huh? So here Prahlad Maharaj appeared. Yeah. So can someone read this?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Praveen Prabhu, you want to read? Good.
Yeah. While Bali Maharaj, having been arrested by the ropes of Varuna,
Prabhu, it's not audible, Prabhu.
while Bali Maharaj, having been arrested by the ropes of Varuna, was offering prayers to the Lord, his
Hare Krishna,
grandfather.
is it to me or everyone?
No, Prabhu, we can't hear.
Okay, Hare Krishna Mata, Prabhu. Maybe Kailash Mataji, you can read this, please.
While Bali Maharaja, having been arrested by the ropes of Varuna, was offering prayers to the Lord, his grandfather Prahlad Maharaja appeared there and described how the Supreme Personality of Godhead had delivered Bali Maharaja by taking his possessions in a tricky way. While Prahlad Maharaja was present, Lord Brahma and Bali's wife Vindhyavali describe the supremacy of the Supreme Lord. Since Bali Maharaj had given everything to the Lord, they prayed for his release. Hare Krishna.
Yeah. So then this prayers continue, and then the Lord gives the answer to Brahma, right? Saying that so he had come. So he is offering the third step, yeah. So now what has happened, yeah? So after this, right, as Mataji rightly pointed out, right? So now Lord Vishnu says that so you'll be actually sent to Sutala, so the lower planetary system, okay? And say in the next Manu, right? So he'll be actually, I think he'll be getting the post of Indra, okay? So and he'll be going into that particular loka, and wherein the Lord himself will be available for him, right? Yeah, to associate, yeah. So every day he can actually associate with the Lord, right? And then it, the Lord only will protect, yeah. So the Lord's chakra will be actually protecting that particular Sutala Loka, right? So where now Lord Bali Maharaj will go in. So what will happen is Bali Maharaj along with his relatives, all the demons, right? So now they'll go and occupy the Sutala Loka. Okay. So and then this was also built by Vishwakarma. Okay. And then it is actually protected by the Lord himself, right? And then so where he can take the association with the Lord daily. So the Lord has given that particular mercy. So wherein every day he can actually take the darshan of the Lord, yeah. And then the Lord himself said that he'll be personally protecting him. Okay. So with that, what happens is the devatas again will get back their kingdoms and then abodes, right? So that's how the case gets settled. So devatas again, so they get their own lokas, and so that's the promise which the Lord gave to Aditi, right? And then he promises, he fulfills it. Yeah. Bali Maharaj was transferred from the heavenly planet to the planet Sutala, which is hundreds of times better than heaven. You see, as indicated by the words. Yeah. Swarga, Swarga hi vihi prarthyam. So when the Supreme Personality of Godhead deprives his devotees of material opulences, this does not mean that the Lord puts him into poverty. Rather, the Lord promotes him to a higher position. This is what I was talking. Okay. So first you will be put into into poverty, but if you withstand that, then you get to a higher position. So that's the mercy. Eh? The Supreme Personality of Godhead did not ask Bali Maharaj to separate from his family. Instead, the Lord allowed him to stay with the family members. Yeah? The Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Master of the three worlds, who is most compassionate to his own devotee, stands with club in hand at Bali Maharaj's door in the Sutala Loka. So what else you need, right? So whenever the activities of Vaman Deva are described in the course of a ritualistic ceremony, whether the ceremony be performed to please the demigods, to please one's forefathers in Pitraloka, or to celebrate a social event like a marriage, that ceremony should be understood to be extremely auspicious. Yeah? This is about Vaman Dev. Hare Krishna. So I tried to fit it in 1 hour, but so if you want, what were the prayers from Vindhyavali? What did the Prahlad Maharaj pray, right? And then what did Brahma pray? And so if you want the details, right, how the Lord was born, and then what happened when the Lord was born, So all these things are given in detail in Srimad Bhagavatam. Okay. Hare Krishna. So hope you all have put your attendance, right? So you have marked your attendance. Anything
Yes, Prabhu.
anyone? Hare Krishna. Thank you. Anything anyone wants to discuss about this topic, or any reflections anyone wants to add if I missed something? Okay. We'll wind up for today then. Thank you for your
Prabhuji, why is called
association.
Upendra? Upendra means such a dwarf. What?
Sorry, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Why is he called Upendra? So his another name is Upendra.
Yeah. His name
His
is,
another name
his another name is Upendra and
Deva is Upendra.
Trivikrama also. So we can take in two words, Mataji. Upendra is nothing but say Upendra. So it's nothing but his the brother of Indra, right? So if we look in, so his sub Upendra is nothing but sub function of it, right? So who is subcategory, right? So in that, so in this case, right, if we look in, right, so he was the son of Aditi, right, and Indra also happens to be the son of Aditi, right? So that could be one thing, and other things I don't know, Mataji. So I'll also have to search and say why it's the name Upendra. But one thing I could think of is this, but there is no description though. So anywhere of why the name
Yes,
Upendra has come
it's
in.
correct. Because he was the brother, younger brother of.
Yeah. So that's something which struck to
Yes,
me, but
you're correct. Because he was the younger brother of Indra. That is why it is called Indra. Yes, Prabhu. Forgot it.
okay. Hare Krishna Mataji. Okay. Thank you for your association. Vancha kalpatarupyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavyo namo namah. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.